My girlfriend's parents purchased her the pricey designer purse she had her eye on. It was awkward for everyone when she refused to open it for more than a week. I tried opening it for her, but it went really wrong. Hi to all of you. My girlfriend is 27, and I am 28. It was my girlfriend's birthday lately. We held a modest gathering in our apartment, but all of our friends are aware that my girlfriend finds it awkward to unwrap presents in front of people due to the pressure. That night, she gave them a special opening. After 2 days, my parents' gift showed up. She openly admired the luxury purse my parents, who are somewhat wealthy, got her the last time we were together. The purse was something they had bought over the weekend and were holding on to for her birthday. She said that she will let them know after she opened it, and replied with a thank you. About 2 days passed while the box remained on our dresser, and then my parents texted to ask if she had opened it. She simply shrugged and replied, shortly when I inquired when she planned to receive the gift. Since I knew she truly desired this gift, I was also rather excited to see her open it. After a few more days, my parents followed up to see if she had received the gift. At this moment, my girlfriend approached me and asked if I could tell my parents to back off since she was finding it too difficult to open the gift because of the strain she was under. I told her that I didn't understand why she wouldn't open it, and I will admit that I've never really understood this. It would only take a thank you text to at least acknowledge that my parents weren't present. It reminded me exactly of our friends departing the party before she could receive her gifts. She added, "You just don't get how uncomfortable it makes me," in a pretty irritated tone. My parents texted me outside of our group chat a week or so after the gift arrived to see if she loved the bag. She still hadn't opened the gift, I informed them. They questioned me about whether they had upset her, if they had gone too far, or anything else. They had previously received gifts from her, but they had never been received in such a way. I was genuinely baffled as to why she was refusing to open it, and at this point, I felt it was almost impolite not to accept the gift. Yesterday evening, she went out with her friends and I opened the box for her. I then put the bag on the dresser to relieve the pressure of having to open it and allow us to move on. I genuinely believed I was saving her face and putting a stop to this unpleasant circumstance. She was furious when she saw it when she arrived home. She admitted that she had assumed it was the bag she had been hoping for, felt uncomfortable about being given such a costly present, and wasn't sure she was ready to open it. She thought it was more impolite of me to open it for her, even though I tried to explain that she was being a little impolite by delaying it. Soon after we went to bed, and this morning she was really brief with me. I left the bag on the dresser, and it's still there. Okay, Ida? My girlfriend doesn't deserve anything from my parents since she doesn't appreciate it. And if she didn't open their gifts, I would tell her that I would tell them never to give her anything if it made her feel uncomfortable to the point where it affected our relationship. After that, we'll tell my parents big thanks for trying and return the gift to them, or to the store if they don't need it. In order to preserve my girlfriend's mental health in the future, I would also need an explanation of what was going through her head and why she was feeling anxious. If she is unable to do so and continues to act like an ungrateful brat in other situations, then I suggest you break up with her. This is an issue that was taken out of her finger, and I detest people who make difficulties out of nothing. Living with such folks is really difficult because they will make drama out of almost anything. Whoa, you got downvoted way too much, bro. She is not a brat, nor is she ungrateful. Commenter, I'm willing to wager that your girlfriend suffers from untreated OCD. You're not the only one who thought of this. Several of our mutual acquaintances have made comments about some of her OCD-related habits. Could you provide further details? Neither of us, I believe, would have connected it to how we understood OCD. Info, commenter, has your relationship been doing well lately? Any altercations or perceived slights? I wonder whether she believed that something about your relationship made it improper for her to receive a gift from them. Little things like this frequently have deeper implications than one might think. Downvoted. Oop. Though some remarks have implied as much, our relationship is fantastic in all seriousness. We are really in love. I made a mistake here, no doubt about it, but I don't believe she was holding back on opening it due to a relationship issue. It makes sense that some people would prefer not to open presents in front of other people. There's a social pressure factor there as well as a politeness-driven obligation to put on a front even when it falls short. But refusing to accept a present in private at home is unreasonable and could be a sign of more serious problems that need to be addressed with the help of a professional. Even though it's modest, your girlfriend's gift-opening anxiety has gotten out of control, and she should investigate why since it's likely to continue to affect her. Important connections. Regarding you ought not to have peeled it open. Just let your parents know that your girlfriend is experiencing gift-opening anxiety and ask them to be patient and not take it personally. If your girlfriend tells you that the gift was too costly, politely let them know so they can change what they give the next time. Roar Satbeards, I can also understand how her boyfriend's gift-giving acted as a stand-in for privacy, even if she was comfortable in her own house, persisting in opening it for his parents while being aware of its nature. It's obvious that she has trouble accepting gifts, but I don't think she did anything to make it seem secure. My meow beans are underscored. That's all well and well for a day or two, but nervous avoidance is incredibly detrimental to oneself, and those of us who practice it can occasionally get pretty adept at explaining it away forever. Yes, her house ought to be a safe place, but it's not good to encourage this degree of nervous avoidance. She needs to be receiving CBT or a related kind of treatment. Update: I didn't intend to update, but I wanted to address a few points raised in the comments. Above all, my girlfriend and I remain together. I never once considered the possibility that she was withholding the gift as a means of ending our relationship. We've been in a great relationship for 3 years now. We'll get through this even though I messed up in this circumstance. Although it appears that some readers of the comments can identify with my upbringing in a courteous manner and constant sending of thank you cards, my parents did not pester her or us with texts on this gift. Every other day or so, they would send a follow-up text to check if she had viewed our group chat. Although we both know they weren't attempting to push her in any manner, or be negative or judgmental, they are undoubtedly inquisitive Midwestern parents. They have a wonderful relationship, and they were quite happy to be able to give her this present. Yes, my girlfriend has previously said she felt awkward unwrapping presents, but not in a way that suggested she didn't enjoy getting them. She informed me that she simply detests the pressure to seem a certain way in front of others, and that she believes it might be difficult for those who are giving gifts. When someone gives her a gift, she typically opens it as soon as she is alone. I left her birthday present by the bed and went to fetch breakfast on her birthday. She had opened it and seemed pleased with it when I returned. I couldn't understand why she hadn't opened this gift because of this. As crazy as it sounds, I truly believe that by unwrapping the present, I was being helpful. Though her comments have pointed out my mistakes, I never intended to dominate, manipulate, or exert coercion over her. Admittedly, I allowed the genuine intention get lost in my own eagerness to see her smile at the present. Yesterday after work, we got back home and sat down to sort everything out. I started by saying I was sorry for spoiling her gift. She informed me that she had thanked my parents over the phone during her lunch break. She informed me that after chatting about the bag, she had a feeling that it was the one, and she was both excited and nervous about the price. Her concern over it grew while it sat there, she claimed, adding that by the time the item arrived, she had raised her expectations and felt bad if she opened it, and it wasn't the bag. She expressed regret to me for her inability to provide the information in advance. I realized that I jumped the gun a little bit, but I do understand this. We also briefly discussed neurodiversity. I'm grateful to everyone who shared their experiences with anxiety, autism, and OCD on social media. She has previously been informed that she may have OCD or autism tendencies. She isn't sure, though, if she wants to proceed with getting a diagnosis right now. Commenter: I'm assuming this is the last time your folks have given her a thoughtful present. They blew a ton of cash on it. I can see you taking it home, but please open it in privacy when you get there. All they wanted to know was that their money and thoughtfulness were valued. It was obviously not. If you're neurodivergent and you love people, you have to learn to act like a normie, or close enough to not offend them in order to keep them around. She needs to practice this ability. Horrible Cheetos, I apologize. Because even though she is unable to express it, she obviously recognizes the care and importance of their present. For everyone involved, what was supposed to be a joyful occasion turned tense. Nemo no in friendly, you should be glad you opened it. It appears that your partner was going into a state of tension, so it was preferable to make a fresh break. Alternatively, she might have left the parcel there until Christmas, at which point things might have become worse when she received more gifts. None at all. A gift that was merely a beautifully wrapped box intended for display, or any combination of the above. To those who are criticizing OP for opening the package, in what other way was this supposed to be resolved? Like you indicated, GF was spiraling out of control and wasn't talking to anyone. OP gave her a lot of chances and made an attempt to question her. It wasn't about reacting at this stage because she could have opened the package while OP was in the restroom, or at work she was just not processing her concern over the possibility that the present would be a letdown. Because GF wasn't providing an explanation, the box would have remained there indefinitely, and OP and his parents would have had to give up. Low-cost beef 8531. You did not make a mistake, my friend. With very little proof, people were raving about how selfish and terrible of a partner you were. I wouldn't get her anything ever again if I were your parents. Although she didn't have a negative intention, her actions were insulting and unpleasant to your parents. When all is said and done, it is your family. Sherry Aphrodite, I believe that it will help in the future when it comes to gift giving if they, that is, OP and GF, tell the parents exactly what happened, and if GF goes to therapy. Op's parents would be justified in not wanting to get GF another gift because they are presumably perplexed and do not fully comprehend the extent of her concern. I believe that GF's explanation of the whole situation, if it's comfortable for her, would provide Op parents with greater clarity and security regarding gift giving. However, the girlfriend needs to work hard to manage her gift anxiety since, if she doesn't, it will negatively impact her future relationships. Microcosmic unicorn. You cannot expect people to not become irritated or frustrated with you if you exhibit behavioral quirks similar to those that the GF obviously exhibits and you refuse to be assessed and diagnosed so you can begin managing those quirks appropriately and so you can inform your loved ones of what to expect from you. No doubt about it, GF is at fault. She's in the weeds dealing with it just as much as they are, Coffeezilla. Not to put her in a bad light, but I believe that this is more of an anxiety issue, namely one related to feeling undeserving of a present in the first place. Even without a villain, this situation is terrible. You might become upset when I am unable to communicate at all on the spot, but there is nothing you can do about it. Neither I nor you are at fault for expecting me to communicate as I did in the past. We are both simply trying our hardest with the resources at hand. Let's go on to the next tale. Narrative 2. My credit score was severely damaged when my father used my identity to obtain 3 credit cards in my name and withdraw $15,000. I'm having a lot of anxiety about purchasing a home. I discovered that over the past year, my dad opened 3 credit cards using my identity. The lender informed me they wouldn't be able to provide me a house loan because of the credit card defaults when I tried to get a pre-approval for a mortgage. They also provided me a page of paper outlining what I would need to do to rectify it and indicated that I probably wouldn't be able to acquire a loan from any lender as a result. I attempted to dispute the cards, one of which is currently in collections, but failed. After the debts were confirmed, the disputes were ended. When I brought it up to my divorced parents, their responses were somewhat dissimilar. My father advised me to use my social security number more responsibly going forward, and that these incidents do occur. Given that I've always exercised caution, that infuriated me greatly. My mother mentioned that she believes my father could be involved because of his credit card openings and the role her name had in their divorce. She informed me that he accrued roughly $50,000 in debt using covert credit cards. I ended up informing my dad in passing a few days ago that I would have to file a police report for the credit cards. He advised me against doing that because, in the big picture, $15,000 isn't all that much. He said I could wait a few years until they disappeared from my credit report when I told him it was preventing me from purchasing a home. It would only take an additional 4.5 years, he said. He told me straight out not to do it and to just be more careful going forward when I told him I obviously couldn't wait that long and I had to file the police report. I informed him that I had already gathered the necessary documentation from the credit agencies. And he informed me that during the previous year, he had opened the cards to cover living expenses. He said that although his employment had slowed down a little, he would still try to help pay it off. It would wreck his life, he said. Though I didn't write that minute, I'm leaning toward calling the police, even if he ended up in jail. I have everything I need to go make the report in front of me today. Considering that I intend to purchase a home this year, I suppose all I want to be sure of is that giving it to the police is the appropriate course of action in this case. Remarks, Matt Ojikos 9 accuses him of deception. That's my inclination right now. I'm figuring out if I want to purchase a home. Those accounts cannot be on my credit. Grace, he's not your father. If it were, you would have reported him by now. Now, consider this: because he is your father, why didn't he treat you with the same decency and spare your credit? Update 1. I spent about half of the day reading everyone's comments and it pretty much reaffirmed what I was going to do. The process itself was relatively easy. I went to the police department and the person at the front desk had me wait about 10 minutes before an officer came out. After roughly 15 minutes of conversation, he copied what I told him. He gave me a leaflet. They had on contacting the credit companies and informed me that a detective will be assigned to the case on Tuesday. I was told I could start disputing the accounts with the report number I was provided. I'll be getting a follow-up call from a detective in the coming weeks. When I asked the officer what he thought would happen to my dad, he responded that, while it seemed very obvious to him, the state attorney's office had final say over whether to charge him. He claimed he'll probably have an arrest warrant issued for him if they choose to press charges. Additionally, he stated that if this is his first offense, he will normally face a fine of and be placed on probation or court supervision for some form of pre-trial diversion. Though it's unlikely that he will go to jail for years, he will undoubtedly spend some time behind bars if he is apprehended on a warrant. Since it's clear to me that he did this on purpose, I've determined it's okay. Because he has never been arrested before, perhaps this will serve as a wake-up call for him. He did this to himself in full at the same time. I'll update as soon as I find out more. Matthew Lies emphasizes in his comments, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I really hope that everything goes smoothly for you. I believe it will. Oop. My credit score should soar after the cards are removed from my credit, which I understand could take a month or two. Flip a jewel _ Excellent work, Op. I read the first post and was furious for you. I would have to summon all my strength not to turn his words against him. Time in jail? These are only a few years. Have you destroyed my life? No, you attempted to destroy mine. Hopefully the marks disappear from your credit report, as if they were made of Teflon. I wish you luck as you pursue home ownership. Update no. 2. Some positive has occurred, a little bit worse than the last several days in terms of progress. The good is that I contested each account using my report number. The credit card with the lowest balance was already removed from my account when I last checked my credit, which is something that everyone should do on a daily basis. Although the other cards in the collection account are still visible, I'm hoping that they will disappear over the course of the next few weeks. Additionally, I got a call from someone in the prosecutor's office asking if I would be willing to testify if they brought charges against him, along with some additional questions. When I answered okay, they informed me that they will decide on their prices by the end of the month. My dad hasn't spoken to me since the last time we spoke, so it's obvious that someone spoke to him about this. He chastised me for calling the police. My brother hasn't spoken to me in over a week, and was also extremely upset with me over it. My mother and the rest of my siblings were aware of my perspective. Not the angry brother, but the genuine bad guy, discovered 2 open credit cards on his credit report that were not his, when he looked at his credit score for the first time. In a few years, he discovered that it had decreased by roughly 150 points. It's something he's currently handling. Although he doesn't yet have concrete evidence to support his theory that our father was the culprit, all signs go in that direction. The idea that a father could abuse his own children still astounds me. Nevertheless, I'm going forward and I still intend to be able to buy a home before the year is out. Further details from the original poster. I believe that my 6 siblings are also monitoring their credit, most likely for the best. Update 3. Since it appears that this has gone viral and appeared on several major websites, this will be my last update. I'm pleased to report that everything has returned to normal with my credit. Now, none of the contested accounts remain. It goes without saying that I'm happy about this because it secures my financial future. 2 weeks ago, I also received a letter from the prosecutor's office informing me that they would be moving forward with a prosecution of identity theft. In our conversation, an assistant prosecutor informed me that although they would be releasing a warrant soon, they would likely offer a plea deal and a minor charge as the defendant was a first-time offender. After a traffic encounter last Friday, my dad was taken into custody. According to the public records website, he was released from custody the following day and has a new court hearing scheduled for late August. I should never get in touch with him again, he informed me over the phone. Although the addresses on the credit cards appear to be different, my brother, who discovered credit cards opened in his name, has also filed a police report. Although he is seeking to remove them from his credit, he was informed that it is unlikely that they will face legal action. Extra details from Op. I just wanted to thank everyone who left a remark on any of my previous postings. I have the bravery to do this because of all of you. I truly want to get past everything, even the news articles and not being in contact with my dad, therefore I'm going to delete this throwaway. Things like these shouldn't come as a surprise to you. My dad did this to himself, and it pains my heart to do this to him.